Thank you, Gordon. I think mostly everything has been said, not by me, so I will focus not on everything what has been said, but what I accepted, everything what Mladenov said, Mr. Martoni, Mr. Svoboda. I cannot see if I can really say is everything what the Commission is saying. It should be careful because we have to fight with each other. But you know very well that the European Parliament is the real fighter for enlargement, because we are wise, much wiser than others, and thanks to the fact that pacta sunt servanda, also the others have to work further on the enlargement. So I think I'm happy to be here. It goes without saying that I'm happy to see Croatia where it is now. But as some of you know, that I'm working in the region now for 22 years, so I have seen a lot of people coming, going, running around as me. And I think it is really important for all the country, for the whole region, that Croatia could make it. And I want also to say thanks to the Sabor, with all its parties, doing this, being helpful, and being at least in common in this direction to the European Union. I think we should also see how the European Parliament is working, because you do not know in which way we are really directed to help you. We have the Foreign Affairs Committee for sure, but in the Foreign Affairs Committee we have a working group for the Western Balkans, in which all the standing rapporteurs, as I am a standing rapporteur for Bosnia-Herzegovina, as Hannes was for Croatia, and others for the different other countries. We are coming together, having all the time meetings with different people of the region. Then we have the Southeast Europe delegation, which I have been chaired for 20 years. Now it's Mr. Kukan from Slovakia. So I think we do this and we are really helpful. And as you see, the driving force for visa liberalization was the European Parliament, and it will be also so for Kosovo. I just want to go to the question which has been said, the fact that there is a kind of fatigue or something like this. It was ever, I assure you. But I think if we are really a little bit realistic, we as all Europeans, we should know that it is only in our interest if we do so. We are not caritative working. We are egoistically working if we help these countries to develop their infrastructure, their democratic situation, and being good democracies, and having peace and stability, and having an infrastructure which gives them jobs for the young generation, and so on and so on. We are the ones who are really profiting from this. If you look back to the 90s, we see that it is like this. The EU Commission and we all, as European institutions, we have to take care that everything what we are doing in the region is tailor-made. Each country, they have something in common. Fight against corruption, a bad judiciary which has to be changed, and so on. But a lot of things are very special because they have a special past and they have a difficult time today. So Bosnia is a very special one, Kosovo is one, Albania, coming from a total other situation, having been in the high prison of communism for 40 or 50 years. So I think we have to take care that we are not taking a measure mass and saying this is like this. And I think Mr. Sanino is the right man on the right place doing so. I'm very happy that Mr. Sørensen is here. He will be the new High Representative, forgive me, Insko. He will be the new ambassador in Bosnia. I come back later on. Yesterday, I wanted to say I felt really ashamed listening to this American man, Mr. Burns, who was speaking as I have wished that my bosses in the European Union would speak. So clear, so really dedicated to the difficult situation in the region. I wanted to say it here because I have the impression some of you had the same impression. I wanted to congratulate Croatia, having invited not only my friend Enver Hoxha, but also the Prime Minister, having invited Kosovo. And you know very well, all of you, that it is very seldom, at least normally it's not, that Kosovo is invited. But I think it is important. It would also be very important for Serbia, because Serbia is not here because of this. But I think it would be very important for Serbia if it sees that all the time when when people are coming together, speaking in conferences on the Southeast Europe region, then they will never be there if Kosovo is there. So please keep in mind, everybody who is doing a conference a discussion on the Southeast Europe, please invite Kosovo. At least Serbia will accept the reality. It is helpful for Serbia. On the other hand, I think Mrs. Ashton is doing somehow not what she should do. When she was in a hearing in the European Parliament, I asked her, what will you do to convince the 5 other people, member states, to accept Kosovo, to recognize Kosovo? And she said she will working. I didn't see that she worked on it. Okay, there is a so-called dialogue now between 2 states, which is not true. If you speak to Serbia, it's not 2 states. Anyway, it's good if it is, because it is helping the people living in both countries to get a better life and a better reality today. But I think she's not doing well in this moment, because she should work on this. It is our first front. Here she should work, and the problem is that there is now some need not to go forward, because the High Court has made the decision. And it is not, there's no reason not to recognize it. On the other hand, perhaps somebody can convince these countries that they can compare Spain with Kosovo or Serbia. It is not to compare these countries, because there was never ever any apartheid regime, never in Slovakia, never in Romania, and never in Spain, and even not in Greece. So I think, and I forgot, I think another country, I do not remember which one. So this was what I wanted to say, but I want to add something which was, I think, mentioned also by Mr. Hachimato. I think what we are lacking, because I'm now changing my chairmanship of the Southeast Europe delegation, I'm now the chairperson of the Culture Education Committee. I think the European Union, the Commission, we should work much more on education, because it is like with the hen and the egg. Education, employability, jobs. When the jobs are not coming, if there is no people educated, and the people will not be educated if there are no jobs. And for sure, I think we should work on this, because the education systems in the region need to be reformed. They should not have only the Bologna label. It doesn't mean anything. Inside there, as they have been, and it is really old-fashioned. And I think we need at least a better vocational training. And I hope very much that the Commission takes it very serious to work even more on it as they do now. On the other hand, just a little word, I was last week on the Danube, on the floating conference, and I think with the Danube strategy, we could really help the region, the whole region, even if they are not all on the Danube, but they are very much linked, to get a better image, to attract much more people, to make tourism working on the middle and the lower Danube, and it is very few money needed to do some things on behalf of the Danube strategy in the region. And I think if we could think on a cultural road of Danube, I think it would be great. It would be a label which would help Romania, Serbia, and part of in Bulgaria to have a better access to this, with this label, to the tourism world. It was only 2 things I wanted to mention, because I wanted to be a little bit practical. Coming to my favorite country, because I am the rapporteur, it is the most complicated. It is BH, also Bosnia-Herzegovina. I don't want to go in details, but I can tell you that I wanted to say it here openly, that we also, the European Union, failed some time ago to fight successfully some developments and some politicians. We should, because this is now burdening all of us, we should have keep in mind Dayton was good to stop the war, but Dayton is very difficult to live with. And there we should have been more helpful to do so. And let me just end in this BH question. I was very unhappy to see, especially in the last years, that there was clashes between the High Rep and the EU officials and the Americans. So there was a lot of less respect under each other. I hope very much, also for INSCO, who is present here, that with new ambassador in Bosnia, Mr. Serin, the things will change, and we will have a common approach. That is needed. In Bosnia, nobody knows really who is thinking what. Please believe me, it is like this. Coming to the end, Mladenov has done my work. He has taken up my initiative to make Sarajevo in 2014 capital of culture. I put it together with my colleagues on the agenda. We decided on it. It means we made an exclusion of our decision taken some years ago, and I hope that the foreign ministers, whom I sent a letter, I hope you get it all, whom I sent a letter, and I sent a letter to the culture minister, and the commission is there to work for it, that you find the possibility to make the same exception for the decision we did together. Please do this. It will be a little bit a light at the end of the tunnel, at least for Bosnia-Herzegovina. Hvala lijepa.